Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to review Better Call Saul Season 6A. And this will be my fourth time I've tried to do this video without some sort of problem. So, I wanted to start off by ranking the seasons so far because I want to give you guys a little entrance into my mindset about this series as a whole so far, because at the very end too, we will be ranking all the episodes and ranking all the seasons separately. So as of now, season 4 is easily the worst. I mean, it's not even a contest. It's laughable how bad that season is. And then second worst would be this season, season 6A. Really bad pacing, horrible story structure, stupid shock value plot twists, and very boring, not Saul oriented, and not really much to like. I mean, honestly, if I was the network, I would scrap this whole season. I don't even need to see the next 6 episodes. I would just scrap it all because it's just gotten so terrible, and so it's such a disgrace to what it used to be, and it's such a disgrace to the character of Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. Because in Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman, he was the second best character in the whole show. Like, the show would not have been any good without Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman's better than Jesse. He's better than Hank. Easily, anyone's better than Skyler. He's better than Flynn or Flint, whatever the fuck his shitty son. He's better than everyone except for Walter. So you have Walter and Saul. They're the best characters of the whole series, and this series, Better Call Saul, has really, as soon as they hit season 4, they started doing a disservice to the character, and they started doing a disservice to the story, because as soon as season 4 hit, remember, and I want to quote Jimmy here in season 5, episode 9, Bad Choice Road. There are roads that you take in life. There's good roads and there's bad roads. And good roads lead to good choices and good situations, and bad roads lead to bad choices and bad situations. And you were on a bad choice road. And that is exactly descriptive of the writers of the show. When they started season 4, they went on a bad choice road. Because after season 3, it became all about an entirely new narrative. All of a sudden, it became about Kim, and how Kim is the golden child, and Jimmy corrupted her. And Jimmy is evil. He's always been evil, and he's terrible, and Chuck is right about everything, because Chuck is such a fantastic hero and such a, oh, we should have all loved Chuck, and fuck that shit. Fuck Chuck. Chuck is an evil piece of shit. He is one of the most evil TV characters I have ever seen. I know what it's like to have that type of situation in a way, a little bit. And so I could, you can just, everyone could have that. Like, anyone could empathize with that. Anyone could see how it would be so dark to have a family member who is like that, who is against you, as if, like, you're not even a family member. And that is what Chuck is. And he's evil. He is pure evil. And I hate him with a passion. And I was so glad when he died. Like, couldn't care less that Chuck died. Like, sorry, but I was not sad because he had a breakdown at the end. Like, I said, good riddance. Fuck Chuck. But then in season 4, all of a sudden, the narrative is Jimmy bad, Chuck good. And it makes no sense because everything after that, it totally contradicts the first 3 seasons. Not only that, but the writers themselves contradict their own writing. Like, they constantly contradict themselves. Like, they have these scenes in the earlier seasons where Kim, she's a great character. She stands up for Jimmy against Chuck. She stands up for him like a good girlfriend, good wife. She stands up for him. And then in season 4, you have this flashback where she's like fawning over Chuck and she's acting like he's the greatest legal mind of all. She's like a fangirl of his. And it's, see what I mean? Like how they like switched gears. And ever since then, it's been a bad choice road. And that's really why we're at where we're at now in season 6A, where it started off pretty good, pretty promising, and then it immediately became trash because of the poor story structure. But then in terms of the rankings, after that I would say season 5. Season 5 overall is trash, but it does have some good things in it. It has a lot more of Jimmy in it than season 4. It has a lot more of his schemes and scams, which I love. Bagman and Bad Choice Road are masterpieces. But then the finale is trash. The finale totally ruined the whole season. Because it's like a trailer for season 6 rather than an actual finale. And that's become a trend nowadays for TV shows. Instead of the finales being exciting, they'll make the episodes before the finale exciting, and then the finale will just be a sneak peek of next season. That's what season 5 was. And then after that, I would say season 3, because there were some moments, there were some episodes that weren't very good, where they did the same poor pacing. Like the first episode was pretty slow, and there were a couple of episodes, like the 4th episode, where it wasn't even about Jimmy at all in any way. It was just Gus and the stupid business with that. And but still, the season was really, really good. There were some really fantastic episodes, and the season overall was really good. And then after that, season 2, very good, because they're showing how Jimmy can't fit in this corporate environment. Like, they're showing this is why he became Saul, partly, is because he doesn't fit with all these people. He needs to be his own person and go his own way and not be attached to anyone who will, screw him up and, so that's why I like the season. And there's a lot of other great things too, like Hector being able to walk around and be a villain before he gets the stroke from Nacho. And then the first place would be season 1. I really think that season 1 is underrated. It has so many great things in it. It has such great pacing. And you have the Mike solo episode, just one solo episode, where it feels like it's his episode, but Jimmy's still there. He still plays a part in the episode near the end. And overall, the season, there's so many things to love. So why did season 6A suck? Well, it starts off really good. The first 2 episodes are great setups. You have all these plots that I didn't think they were going to be any good. Like, you have the Howard plot, where they're trying to scam Howard, and you have the plot with Nacho running away from Lalo, and you have the plot with Lalo going after him and Gus. those are the three plots. I was not excited for any of them. Like, I didn't even want to watch this season because I knew it wasn't going to be very good. But I watched it anyway because I to review it, to get the 15 views a video for this show that I get. Uh, so it starts off, and those plots are really good because they're set up really well. I really like Kim being evil because for some reason I like her more when she's evil. She's a lot more confident. I really loved her at first when she was good, but in seasons 4 and 5 she stopped being confident. She started being this really like she would flick like a switch, flick on and off like what Jimmy would do, and get really mad at him and snappy. And it didn't really even seem like she liked him, like she was his girlfriend. And so I really like her now because she's confident and she's fully a person. You know, she's not half of a person. She's not she's not weak anymore. She seems very, very confident about being this evil persona. And so I like that. The scene with the carrot and the stick, which I will say, I love seeing the Kettlemans, but it points out a very serious flaw with the show. They have this model where they can only have a certain amount of episodes in a certain amount of seasons. And you know what's trash about that, by the way? When you go to a casino, let's say you go to a casino with unlimited money, so you're already at an advantage. But would you want to play 10 games of blackjack or 100 games of blackjack? I would want to play 100 games of blackjack because I would want 100 chances to win. That's 90 more chances. No, wait, no, 80 more, because did I say 20 or 10? I can't remember. But the point is, you want more chances to win. And because this show took the typical modern television route where they have this limited number of episodes and seasons, they have less chances to get things right. So now we're left with 6 episodes of Better Call Saul. And Saul isn't even Saul yet. So he's not even the character yet. And we've been waiting now for 1,000,000 years for him to be the character. And if they had more episodes and more seasons, he would be able to be the character. So you see, my point is that this model of modern television is flawed because they painted themselves in a corner. They did that themselves. They had to pull the Kettlemans because they didn't have any other characters they could pick from. They couldn't get any other smaller characters because the Kettlemans were the only ones they could find, and that's because they didn't have more episodes and more seasons. If they had more episodes, they would have had other characters they could have chosen from to put them in this final season. So we can really see a weakness in the show exposed there, and the fact that the Kettlemans came back after, they did that short video with the Kettlemans. I think it was called a Bad Picnic or something, a Kettleman Picnic. And I watched that. That was years ago, before the shitty season 4. And I thought that was the last I was going to see of them. I didn't know they'd bring them back, and it's because they're desperate. It's because they didn't have any other characters that they could bring back and do the story that they did. So it just shows these weaknesses. You can clearly see them. And so it starts off the 2 good episodes, but then we get to episode 3. And I thought that Nacho was going to go on an adventure. He was going to go on a journey. And he was going to have to go all over, and he was going to have this really hardcore adventure with action-packed, suspenseful, scary, sad, happy, all these emotions. I thought it was going to be a very good storyline. I was really excited for it as a viewer. But then all of a sudden, they just make it into, oh, Nacho has to die. It, like, at first it was, he doesn't have to die, like he could escape or something. But now, all of a sudden in episode 3, the writers rushed to this conclusion where it's like, oh, he has to die. And so he orchestrates this stupid deal where they'll protect his father. That hasn't paid off at all. You know, his father hasn't even been mentioned. So that was a big waste of time. And you think that they're not going to take any shortcuts. That, you know, with episodes 1 and 2, they were at a good pace. Well, I was wrong, because immediately after that, he is teleported to New Mexico from Mexico in the chicken truck. And so after thinking he's going to, because he said, I'm going to make my own way. So after thinking he is going to make his own way, it's like, oh no, never mind. Actually, he's going there in the chicken truck. And then they take him to the middle of the desert, and he can either be killed by one gang or the other. That's his choice. And so then he decides, oh, instead of that, I'm going to kill myself. So instead of him getting away and it being really exciting, he kills himself. And you see this flicker of what Nacho used to be, where he gives this speech, and he really shows you that he is a good actor, but he was just given this horrible horrible material the past few seasons. And we see a flicker of what he used to be. And that it just showed that's what he could have been the whole season. He could have made a transformation into this, back into what he was before, in order to survive and in order to get out of this situation. And instead, it's like, oh no, we're just going to kill him off. You know why, folks? Because then they don't have to write any more story. That's why. That's the real reason. Because you say, I want, you should make more. Make more Better Call Saul. But we can't, because we killed off all these characters. So we can't write anything, We'd have to create new characters. That's why. And then episodes 4, 5, and 6 are masturbatory, pretentious, boring trash. They're what people like to call filler episodes. And it's too bad, because they don't have any chance to redeem themselves. Even if the last 6 episodes are A+, this season's going to go down as either the third or the second worst season of the show. And it's sad, because you have a show like The Blacklist, and that show is a good example of a good modern day show. A good amount of seasons, good amount of episodes. And I'll tell you something, when I was watching season 2 of The Blacklist, I was hating it. I was thinking, this is the worst thing ever. It's boring. It's stupid. I hate this show. And so I stopped watching it. And then I came back, and in the second half of the second season, it was really, really good. And it was a good amount of episodes too, and it made me love the show again. And with this show, they don't have the opportunity to do that, because everything's coming to an end, and it's all, we pretty much know what's going to happen. We know that, okay, we have to get to Breaking Bad, and then we'll have something in the future with Gene and maybe Kim, because everything has to involve Kim, even though it's trash. So, in episode 4, called Hit and Run, when there's no hit and run in the fucking episode, there was a really good sequence with the car caper with Jimmy where he pretends to be Howard. I did really, really like that. As I said, I would give that sequence an A plus. I'd give the rest of the episode a D because it just wasn't interesting or needed at all. And then in the fifth episode, fifth episode, yeah, Black and Blue, you have the cringeworthy, cartoony, fight me, Jimmy, fight me sequence with Howie Ward. Uh, that was really bad. That episode was terrible. But at least we got the sequence with Lalo where he sees Warner's wife in Germany, even though he teleports there for plot convenience. We see him meet with her, and I really love the sequence where he does everything he can not to kill her, because it shows that his character, he's not fully evil, he's not fully good, he's kind of like in the middle. He's like a neutral evil. And I really love that sequence, though, because it showed he's not a full villain. If it were Gus would have just had all those people killed. He would have killed the dog. He wouldn't have cared. But Lalo actually did what he could to escape. And that's very important because episode 7 contradicts that whole character that he has. And then in episode 6, there is a really good opening scene with Kim, her childhood. And it was sad, too, with the opening scene that in the final season of Better Call Saul, we're not getting a flashback of Jimmy's childhood. We're getting another flashback of Kim's childhood. And it's very confusing, like, why that is. Like, we couldn't have gotten 2 flashbacks. Like, we couldn't have gotten 1 Kim, 1 Jimmy. It just had to be Kim. And it's just another example of how the show has completely diverted into Better Call Kim. And the reason why that is, sadly, it's not because of bad writing, because, like, they want to push an agenda. It's because they don't want to have to do a Better Call Kim show. For real. They don't want to have to make a Kim solo show. So they're getting all their ideas out for her in this show. And so they're basically using Saul Goodman as a vehicle for her character, which is really shitty for them to do, because she deserves better. She's a good actress. She did a good job directing the episode 4, and she deserves better, honestly, because now I probably wouldn't even watch a solo show with her anymore. But in seasons 1, 2, and 3, I would have easily watched a show about her. Easily. And then the rest of that episode 6, more boring, filler trash, completely uninteresting. It felt like a season 4 episode, a lot of references to season 4. And then in episode 7, I'm very mixed about, because I've watched that episode now like 5 or 6 times. Because for some reason, no matter what the flaws are, I really enjoy that episode. Like, I really like watching it. I really love the music. I love the pacing of the episode. It's like a perfectly paced episode of Better Call Saul. If all the episodes were like episode 7, in terms of the pacing and the structure of the story, I would love the season. But it starts off and you have this really stupid sequence with Lalo, who walks into a crowded gas station and gets a shower. He leaves all his DNA all over the shower, and he exposes himself for all these people to see who he is. And so it's like he doesn't really care if people recognize him. Like, he is a wanted international criminal. They think that he escaped. They think that he ran away, because he did. So they're looking for him. And you're telling me none of these people are going to say, hey, I remember I saw that guy at the gas station. That's really, really bad writing. And then you have what is the best part of the episode, where Jimmy has to get put together this last minute shoot, this photo shoot. And that was my favorite part of the episode, because I just loved how it felt like Jimmy was the main character. You know, you still had Kim come in at the end and help him, and they were working together, but it felt, that whole sequence felt like Jimmy is the active participant in this story. Like, when you write a story, you want your characters to be active participants in what's going on. You want them to actively change the outcome of events. You want them to actively change the story. Most of the time in these later seasons, Jimmy doesn't really even, he's not really even involved in the story, except for catering towards what Kim wants to do. Like, even this whole scheme and scam, he's done it to please Kim, and he's done it because she's like giving him an excuse to do it, not because he genuinely wants to do it. Whereas in the earlier seasons, like season 3, he genuinely wanted to do the Irene scam and get the Sandpiper money. And so that's why that story was so effective, was because he did it himself, and he wanted to do it himself. So I love that whole filmmaking sequence. That was very, very enjoyable, and I love that whole sequence. And then after that, I loved all the stuff with Howard, because Howard gave an incredible performance. Really an Emmy-worthy A-plus performance from Howard. And that's another example where he shines in this final episode of his. And it's too bad we couldn't have gotten a whole season, or the rest of this season, with Howard being as good as he is in this episode. Because I gotta say, like, I really, really felt for him, you know, the way that he has to go through all this stuff, and then he's just expected to, you know, get back up on his feet, and, you know, he really, really sold that performance. He sold that character to me. And then after that, we have Lalo, and he's so stupid that he doesn't realize that they would tap Hector's phone. So Lalo, this whole episode, he acts completely out of character, and he does it for the convenience of their shitty plot, so that they can rush their ideas forward and move on with what they want to do with the rest of the season. And then you have the rest of the Howard thing, really, really good. A+ with that, obviously. And then you get to the finale part where Howard shows up, and he pushes the narrative for the writers that they want to push. He says, Jimmy corrupted you, Kim. You were a golden child. Jimmy's corrupted you. And Chuck was always right, and he was always the good guy. And then he says something where he compares them to the real life inspiration for the two guys in Rope, which is really stupid, because that's really, it's kind of like, are they really going to make it where Saul Goodman was never Saul Goodman? He was always Saul Goodman with the help of his criminal partner Kim. Like, I really don't want that at all. Like, she's her own person. Why can't she be her own character, and why can't he be his own character? You know, like, why does it like, they are not the couple from Rope. Like, that has never, ever, 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 ever been what the story has been, and I really don't like that at all. And so the implications of that I really despise. And then Lalo comes in, and he just kills Howard for no reason, for shock value. so that the audience can go, whoa, I didn't expect that. Yeah, you didn't expect it because it's stupid. Okay, you don't expect them to make these stupid decisions, and then they do it anyway. And what's funny is that, once again, Lalo didn't care about all those people in the gas station seeing him, but he cares that Howard sees him when Howard is drunk on tequila. I mean, what if Howard might not have even remembered who that guy was? He might not even remembered what he looked like. But then he's just killed for no reason. The thing that I do like, though, is I guess they said in an interview that because of Howard's death, Jimmy is going to become Saul. And I honestly do really like the idea of that. I like the idea of Jimmy becoming Saul because of Howard dying and not because of Chuck. Because honestly, who cares about Chuck dying? Like, who even cared? Nobody cared. Except for Howard because he was Chuck's bitch. Uh, so I really like the idea of Howard's death being the impetus for Saul, but it's unfortunate, that there's only 6 episodes left. 6 episodes. So I gotta revise my grade of the episode and give it a B plus like I wanted to, because I enjoy the episode even though I have a problem with that ending, and I think that it's a horribly executed, pardon the pun, it's a horribly executed idea. But it was a good idea. I like the idea of Lalo killing Howard and then that being the impetus. I just don't like the reasoning, and I don't like it in general. Like, it was a terribly done scene, except for the acting. The acting was really good. And then, of course, ending the episode with Lalo just standing there being like, let's talk. Like, that was just such a great cliffhanger. I did love that, so I'm very mixed. But overall, this season, it gets a D plus overall, because you can't excuse 4 bad episodes for 3 good ones. Because the first 2 are good, the third one's trash, the fourth one is okay, but it's still pretty mediocre and not on par with any of the earlier seasons. And then episodes 5 and 6 are trash. Episode 7 is okay, it's pretty good. So you have 3 good episodes, 4 bad ones. That is not a good ratio. But of course, the fanboys will just say that, all of them are good because it could never be bad. Like, that's a fanboy mentality. Because at the end of the day, here's the difference between me and fanboys. Fanboys will always love anything that these people do, no matter what. With me, you have to make sense for me to love your writing. You know? Like, for me, I'm the only one whose mind can be changed by the choices that they make on the show. All these fanboys, they don't care. They'll just like it regardless. They said, I was very disappointed when Nacho was killed, but I love it anyway. Why? Why do you have to love it anyway? Why can't you have your own opinion and, like, genuinely like it or genuinely dislike it? Why does it have to be this disingenuous, fake, like, Saul Goodman like attitude where it's like, I love everything because it's automatically good because it's Better Call Saul. That's why this show has really gotten how bad it's gotten, because of this fanboy mindset where the writers, they're not given the proper feedback, they're not given the proper criticism, so they go down this bad choice road. And that's going to end it. So please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of Better Call Saul Season 6, and then please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see me review the rest of the season. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.